Mr. Leigh, you and your siblings claim the defendant was not fathered by your dad, Charles Leigh Sr., a former professional football player and two-time Super Bowl champion who sadly passed away 10 years ago. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Patrick Leigh, you are tired of the plaintiffs denying that you share the same dad, and today's DNA results will prove your case that football star Charles Leigh Sr. was, in fact, your father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
What did you know about your mother's relationship with Charles Leigh Sr.?
My father used to come by the house all the time.
You've known him all your life?
All my life.
It wasn't revealed to you at 10 or 12 that
No,
this
ma'am.
is your father?
No,
You've
ma'am.
known him since you were born?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know that he was a football star, a Super Bowl champion? Did you know these things about his life?
In the beginning, I didn't know. People would come up to me and tell me, you know, your father is...
Excuse me, if you...
your father,
wait a minute. If that's... he had you all your life and you didn't know and you was hanging out with him, oh, my father was the type of person he
As
could
I was
tell
saying,
you
Your Honor, before,
about the story.
If you were
He'll
asking
tell
my
you.
question,
My father...
Everybody
in Albany know my father.
So if you his son, you don't know, you didn't know at first?
You didn't know?
So, Mr. Charles Leigh Jr., your father died 10 years ago. Why come to court now?
Well, actually, Your Honor, my father died 10 years ago, but my mom just passed away 9 months ago. My mom died September the 24th of 2015.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, and we were sort of estranged from Patrick after my father had died. And there was never a blood test done.
Okay, I want to hear from Mr. Leigh. Why is it that you feel like they're questioning this now?
I have no clue. If you ask me, it may be having to do something with the will or just anything going on within our family. I don't know.
He never really looked like us, and people, even in the own family, would always say to him, and I felt bad sometimes when they would say to him, oh, Tinky ain't your father, or you got that wrong. And he ended up coming to live with my mom. My mother and father, when I guess he's about 11 or 12 years old, his mom he was giving her problems. She dropped him off to my father. Basically, my father was renovating a house or something. He stayed down in that house down there until my father had the courage to go home to tell his wife that his outside child had been dropped to him. And when my mother found out, she told him to go get him. He is a child. And then my mother allowed him
and he was
to
bad.
come there. And my mother took him, he called my mother,
excuse me, Your Honor, that's not true.
Okay,
was not dropped
how
off.
did you come to live with them?
I have been having problems with my mom, okay? Due to the fact that, you know, I didn't have a male figure around me. So I'm arguing, fighting, tearing up. So my mom's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. So she called my father. My father came to the house. She said, Tinky, I'm having problems with him. I don't know what I'm gonna do with him. He said, well, I'm gonna take him with me. Let me take him and let me see what I can get done with him.
In your honor,
now,
I can say this. My father would bring home a stray dog and raise the dog.
Well, this is not a dog.
Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying, but this is what I'm trying to say to you.
I get what you're saying. Your point is, it wouldn't surprise you whether he knew definitively or not that this was his biological child. He basically would look at him as a young man in need.
That was him.
If it was a question, then why is my father's name on my birth certificate?
Your father's name is on your birth
Yes,
certificate.
ma'am.
We're not.
Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, I do.
We're not saying
Ron,
that.
can you please hand me?
We're not saying that listen, we're not saying that because at that time, my father was having an affair
but I want her to
with
see
his
the
mother.
original.
And my father did sign the birth certificate because back then when he was a baby, you don't look like nobody. It was until he started getting older. He didn't look like any of us. Then it became a question. My father didn't deny him when he was a baby.
So what are you talking about? You're not making no sense. And you trying to make me look like I'm crazy and I don't know what I'm doing.
You had to
I don't even know the story.
All right, let's get some control. Patrick, when you, just a moment ago, presented your birth certificate with your father's name on it, you presented your original birth certificate, and it is signed, and it is, your father's name is listed as father. How are you feeling?
I didn't know he felt like
Don't start talking.
I don't feel no kind of way. You brought this to me.
Let me
I ain't bring nothing. I should be standing where you at.
Patrick, I can see this is hurting you too.
Like I said, we're gonna see.
Sir, You're not gonna out-talk me here today.
I'm sorry.
Now let's get something straight.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're not gonna run this thing, I do.
Okay.
Now, in order for me to give you a chance to respond to his story, I have to hear it.
Okay.
Mr. Leigh, was there ever any conversation, and I need to ask this, about the fact that he was a married man?
No, she didn't know it.
Well,
She didn't know he was a married man.
Jesus.
Now, this is how I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you everything, because obviously these people, first and foremost.
These people,
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Now we these people. You raised up in the house.
Mr. Charles Leigh and Miss Carla Leigh don't know the story, okay? Because myself and her got into plenty of arguments. Your mother is a slut because she messed with a married man.
And I'll say it to today.
So I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, I don't know this, though. I'm a baby.
Because
I'm a kid.
she knew my mom. She knew my father was married. Everybody
They've been married. They've been together since they were
12 years old.
But most importantly, my father knew he was married.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
So therefore, for him to tell my mother,
who's to blame? You can't blame my mother.
Okay, let's get some order.
My father took care of his kids.
Yo, drama queen, take it somewhere else, kid.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
We ain't had nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with it.
Well, you know what? As much as you have been talking, Charles Leigh Jr. this morning, I will say what you just said was so correct. I see you all. It's an emotional day. You're dealing with the legacy of your father. You're dealing with things that adults created, situations adults created, and now you, the children, are living it out in the next generation.
Right.
And it's not easy because you don't understand how all this happened and what it all means. That's what I'm trying to help you understand.
Now, I'm going to tell you about this situation right here. No, I don't blame his mother. Okay, and I had a real big issue with my father because I was a daddy's girl. And if you look at that screen, I look just like my daddy, okay? I haven't seen Patrick since 2007 when they named Blinker Stadium after my father. Before that, I couldn't tell you how long I had seen him. But I tell you, the most hurtingest feeling is when my father died. My brother had to make him go get in the car with us. He left my father's funeral in the middle of it. Got up and walked out. And who in the world does that?
That is a lie. You know, the reason why I had to leave or I didn't get into the limousine with them was because I drove someone else's car out to the house to make sure everything was right. I had to bring that car back because that person did me a favor and they had to go to work and to school. So for them to do me a favor, I have to make sure they get their vehicle back. I wasn't refusing anything. That's what I'm saying. People put words in my mouth and make it seem like I'm the bad guy.
My whole thing, this is your father's.
Well, what he said, if you listen to what he's saying once he knew he was invited into the car and he could go.
He's coming there making arrangements with us. What do you mean now all of a sudden? You acting like he was not, he was in the paper.
So let me ask you this. Okay, but this doesn't make sense. Right. So guys, this is why, and this is exactly why I sit here. Yeah. Because I hear the testimony and I can hear when it's inconsistent with the point you're trying to prove.
Right. Yeah,
if he's trying to be all up in the family, I'm one of the kids and y'all gonna recognize me.
Yeah.
He'd have been the first one in the limo. Right. He had somebody else's car. Earlier in your testimony, you mentioned the obituary, and I want to understand that. Mm-hmm. If you take a look, it says Charles Leigh Sr. died peacefully, and he's survived by 4 children. And there are 4 children mentioned.
Yes.
And then there's an additional line, also survived by Patrick Leigh of New York.
Yes. And
And that was an error.
But wait a minute. No, it wasn't an error. Everybody did not know that my father had outside children.
Listen, everybody that just looks at this screen can understand why the writer wrote it that way. Mm-hmm. Now, I wish they would have consulted me because I could have given them better verbiage.
Right.
Well, and then they wouldn't seem like, and also these people. because that's what it reads like.
Well,
intentionally or not.
We do that intentionally.
No, I don't believe you did.
At all.
Now, speaking of the fact that you have to figure out how to list outside children, there is another child in question that was born outside of your parents' marriage.
Yes.
I'd like to hear from Kyle. Ron, can you please escort Kyle into the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am. We're going to go up to the witness stand right next to the judge.
How you doing, man?
Hello, Kyle. Thank you for joining us today. I'd like to ask you, when did you find out that Charles Leigh Sr. was your father?
When I was 6 years old, I walked in on my mother basically having sex with my father. Mother brought me to the side and told me that that was my real father.
Oh, my goodness. Did you all ever ask your father about Kyle?
I got on the phone and I called my father. He told me, hell no.
So he told you Kyle was not his biological child. Did you grow up having a relationship with him?
From 6 to 12, like, he was coming to get me, taking me out places and stuff. Like, he would give me school clothes and stuff. Like, he was there for me, basically, that I know of.
Is Charles Leigh Sr. on your birth certificate?
Oh, man. I only got evidence that my birth certificate on my stepfather signed.
Let me see that, sir. So listed on your birth certificate is your stepfather's name.
Yes.
And until 6 years old, you thought that was your biological father until your mother told you.
Yes. They had a parade for my father when they named the field after him. He got his own field in Albany. I was there at mostly all the.
And when he was that
But
back,
you never...
we didn't even know he was there.
You
He
never
didn't-
came up and addressed the family, you just went.
Your Honor?
Oh yeah, and not only, like, I've been to my other brother Dev, like before I even knew he was my brother. Like, we used to always see each other in the neighborhood.
Really?
Like, just as friends though. Like,
Ever since me and him met, it's always been, he knows people that I know, and we chill in the same circumference. We all would be chilling. I never knew
So
that
you
was my
all
little
were
brother.
friends and knew each other from the neighborhood and never knew you were brothers.
Yes, ma'am.
And so
Yes, ma'am.
it's interesting to me and almost ironic that this young man who does not have your father's name listed on his birth certificate, you readily accept.
Because
and yet the gentleman that your father brought home to live with you all, raised him with you all, and his name is on his birth certificate.
Because he thought it was.
You have questioned.
Right, he questioned.
Why is that?
Because of how the resemblance.
If you, I'm just gonna say it right now.
The
If you
resemblance.
look at 1, 2, and 3, and 4, oh, you know we related. You kind of look over there, it's questionable. I have been questioning this since he was a baby, when he was a baby. You understand? Because like he
You
said,
don't
I
see
lived
the
in that
physical
house.
resemblance
the
or the
older
features.
he got, the
No.
more he start looking like somebody else's grandson.
Well, maybe he looks like his mom.
No, he don't
No,
look
he
like
don't
her
look
either.
like her either.
Listen, it seems obvious that you all have a level of resentment towards Patrick, probably because that you knew what kind of pain your mother had to internalize to be able to raise him, forgive your father, and go on about her life. Because as much as you all say you invite him in, if you sat where I sit, you can see the energy that goes across the aisle towards this young man. I mean, you can feel it. No, I'm done. I'm done hearing testimony because I know that the only way we can figure out how to move forward, we got to get the results.
That's
Ron,
my bro, and I
the
love you,
envelopes,
Pat.
please. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics. Now, in order to determine if Kyle Lane is the brother of Charles Leigh Jr. and Carla Leigh, we performed a DNA siblingship test, and these are the results. In the case of Leigh versus Leigh, it has been determined by this court that Charles Leigh Jr. and Carla Leigh are related to Kyle Lane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do that. Thank you, Jesus.
The next result are for Patrick Leigh. In the case of Leigh versus Leigh, it has been determined by this court that Charles Lee Jr. and Carla Lee are not related to Patrick Lee.
Lord Jesus! Lord Jesus!
No,
but I love you.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Please,
Patrick.
if he wants contact, please step over there. If he doesn't
Give him a minute. That was tough. And Miss Lee, I know your thank you, Jesus, was not to be evil, but I think it hurt him.
It's the
stress of not knowing all these
My
years.
mother went through.
Just give him a minute. I'm very sorry.
You know, life goes on. I mean, you know, ain't nothing I could do about it, but I'm good. I just want to go home to my boys.
I want you to understand that for a man to take you as a child into his home with his other children and his wife and jeopardize the family he had built, that means he had a lot of love for you.
Give him a hug.
Just ask him.
I don't want.
He doesn't want a hug right now.
I'm good.
Well,
he doesn't want a hug right now, and that's okay. Mr. Vadeboncoeur, you have petitioned the court to prove to Miss Furnari that you are not the biological father of her 1-year-old son, Dawson.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you can prove you're not the father, and when today's results win your case, you want her out of your life for good.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Furnari, though you admit to sleeping with 2 other men, you say there's no doubt that Mr. Vadeboncoeur is your son's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Vadeboncoeur, tell me about your relationship with Miss Furnari.
Well, Your Honor, there was really never no relationship. I met her over Facebook through my sister, and after that, I had unprotected sex with her, and I ended up going away probably 3 to 4 days later. Now, 6 months down the road, I get a letter from my sister stating that Miss Furnari's pregnant. I haven't talked to her. I tried calling her from where I was, and there's no answer. And then I get pictures in the mail saying, hey, this is your kid.
And so that was the extent of the relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you had sex just one time?
I had sex with her about twice.
Just 2 times?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Furnari, what was the nature of the relationship? How long did you date him?
About 2.5 years.
You 2.5 years? Mr. Vadeboncoeur, you said you had sex with her 2 times.
She tries to say that we've been together 2.5, 3 years. No, shortly after I met Miss Furnari, I went away. I've probably seen her 1 time within 10 months.
Were you in a relationship with anybody else during the time you were also sleeping with Mr. Vadeboncoeur?
No, I was not.
So how did he hear about you being with other men?
I did tell him.
You told him?
Yes, I did.
What did you tell him?
That I had sex with another guy while he was away.
So, Mr. Vadeboncoeur, what were you told?
I've had a couple people tell me, hey, you know Miss Furnari's out here cheating on you. And I find out she's sleeping on a couch with another guy naked. She's in the shower, taking a shower with another guy. This whole time, I'm away. The thing that gets me is the times don't add up from when I went away to when I came back for it to be my kid.
So explain why the times don't add up.
Because I was away for 10 months. Pregnancy is 9 months if I'm not wrong, right?
So when you went away, you didn't have any idea whether she was pregnant or not?
I got a letter saying, hey, Miss Furnari's pregnant.
You say to yourself, this is my child, this isn't my child.
I was happy. I was actually very happy.
Then you start hearing rumors, things.
Well, the rumor started when I first had one of my buddies come to me and say, hey, you know, Miss Furnari is out there cheating on you. I'm one of the guys she cheated on you with. All right, now I'll let it go. I was thinking he is mine. Now, I get to talking to another guy and he tells me he's had sex with her, and I look at Dawson and I look at him and I'm thinking it's his kid.
How did that affect you?
I was sick of it. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to keep going through it because it's putting strain on me and my fiance's relationship. And that's the one thing I don't want. I found the one I want to be with. So the only reason why I think she's trying to see if it's my kid Because if she thinks if he's mine,
I know it's
that
worse.
I'm gonna come back to
I was
her
the only
and we're
one
gonna be some big happy family.
So you
But-
think this is a way to stay connected to you in hopes that you can get back together?
That's exactly what it is, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Furnari, you brought a witness. I'd like to hear from her. Please stand, ma'am. State your name.
Janine Vadeboncoeur.
Ms. Vadeboncoeur,
Yes.
you are relation to Mr. Vadeboncoeur?
Yes, that's my brother.
Oh, so you're the sister that told him about the cheating?
Yes.
But you're standing with Ms. Furnari today?
It's about this little boy right here.
Tell me what you know.
That's what it's about.
Tell me what you know.
One night after we had all been drinking, she slept with one of the people that came to our little get-together.
Is that the only time you caught her cheating?
That's the only time I caught her cheating. I mean, I had suspicions, but...
Why? Because of her talking on the phone, or...?
Just different behaviors and stuff, and I told my brother this stuff, and I went to pick him up when he came home, and he came straight back, and he was right back with Miss Furnari after we got home, after I got him home from being away.
So you told your brother this, and then when he came back home, he went right back to her.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why you're standing on this side of the aisle today, because you feel like ultimately it's about Dawson.
Right, and they both lived with me. I put them out, and then my brother came to live with me again, because no matter what, at the end of the day, he's my baby brother, and I'll hold it down for him.
Is this about the fact that he went back to Ms. Furnari after he came home, or is this about you truly thinking Dawson is your nephew?
I truly believe that's my nephew.
But your brother said he was also confronted by a guy.
Right, I don't keep the same company as him.
That he said he slept with her as well.
Right, he also said they were only had sex 2 times. They lived with me. 90% of their relationship, they lived in my home.
So when he says that he had sex with her just 2 times before he went away, that's not the truth?
No, not at all.
Ms. Furnari, there have been a lot of accusations today about you cheating, and you haven't said a word. You're not defending yourself. You're not saying that's not true. What is your story? Were you sleeping with multiple men during the window of conception?
No, I wasn't, Your Honor. All these
so
are
why
lies.
are all these men coming up to him talking about they slept with you?
They're not.
Your Honor,
it's all lies.
Mutual too. It's mutual. They were cheating. It was back and forth. I know many times of him cheating on her. I know one time really of her. I don't know anything else. It was mutual. It was a very tumultuous relationship between both of them. It was like fire and ice with them.
So you're basically saying, Ms. Vadeboncoeur, that it is true. She was sleeping with a whole bunch of different people.
I don't know if she was sleeping with them per se when the window of conception, they lived together above me. When she found out she was pregnant, they lived above me. When he went away, she stayed with me for a while.
Well, when my sister kicked her out, she went and lived with this guy that stayed above from my sister.
And his wife and
that
kids.
is the guy that I think is Dawson's father.
Did you go to live with a man and his wife and kids?
Yes,
Ms.
I
Furnari?
did.
Were you intimate with that man?
No, I was not. I only had sex with one guy, and
Your
it was
Honor,
at the party.
Your Honor, I have been told multiple times by multiple people the same story that I'm getting from these guys. Now, why would these guys come to me and just lie about it? They know I'm not with Miss Furnari. They know I have nothing to do with her anymore. Now, why would they constantly be lying to me about it? That's the question that I have.
Your point is, what is the motive? Do they want to be with her? Do they want to keep you two apart? Your thing is, why are these people coming to tell me something they have no reason to tell me?
I honestly don't know, Your Honor. I think they just want me to know who I was dealing with.
So Dawson's now 1.
Yes, Your Honor.
What has been your involvement with this child?
I basically had no involvement with him.
None.
He's had some serious medical issues. Serious medical
now,
issues.
Your Honor, I did go up to the hospital for him.
After his surgery, you went out and went to the bar with 2 other girls and had sex with them.
That's irrelevant, Your Honor.
Okay.
Why our son was in the hospital?
We was not together at the time. She asked me to come up and see Dawson.
Yes, we were together.
So I did come and see Dawson. She tries to say we've been together for 3 years. I have been gone.
Yes, we were.
2.5, almost 3.
But she's held you down that whole time. She's been down for you.
She says she's held me down, but do you call holding down cheating on me?
Mr. Vadeboncoeur, I want to know, why do you think she so desperately is trying to say you are Dawson's father?
I don't know, Your Honor. I have tried to get DNA tests with Miss Furnari. She flakes out on it.
For one, and he told me to pay him $25 to take it.
Miss Furnari flakes out on it, Your Honor.
In Illinois, he needs to break the cycle of what we went through as kids with his baby. I am down for his kids 100%. I need my brother to be in his kid's life.
Your Honor.
For everybody in the situation, because these kids didn't ask for this.
I'd like to hear from your witness, sir. Please stand, ma'am. State your name.
Charity Knox.
Ms. Knox, you are Mr. Vadeboncoeur's
fiance.
Fiance.
Yes.
What do you know about this situation and Dawson's paternity?
She did flake out a couple times. We had paternity tests and she flaked out. It's all about David. It's not about that baby when it comes down. She wants him. Honey, you're not getting him. Sorry. Bye,
First of all, she's irrelevant. She's been here for like months. She's been here for months.
I've been here for a year.
I've been
with my fiance for a year.
She has nothing to do with any of it. This is between them, and it's about Dawson.
Then why are you here then?
She cannot, because I'm Dawson's aunt.
Okay,
you are nothing.
I'm going to be his stepmommy
anyway.
No, you're not going to be a stepmom.
This is the problem.
That is my son, and you're not getting him.
Let them deal with it. She doesn't know how to shut up and let them deal with it. She's got to interject on everything, and it's got to be her way no matter what.
That is not true, Your Honor.
Yes, it is.
She will
that
call.
Is not true.
She will call Tia. They will call and mess with Tia. Tia won't have their number half the time. If Tia has their number, I am not going to lie, she will do it to them. They call Tia. My brother called Tia last night. They walked past our hotel. 1 o'clock in the morning, Tia's phone's going off, wakes me up. It's my brother telling Tia, meet him down the street so he can get some.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
We're walking down.
Wait a minute. Last night, Mr. Vadeboncoeur, you smiling?
Supposedly, because this is what I deal with every day on a daily basis.
Yes.
I have calls on my cell phone.
Were you calling?
Anonymous.
Were you calling Miss Furnari last night at 1 a.m.?
I have the calls on my cell phone right now, and I have my cell phone.
We went out to see a night on the town. We just
and you guys walked past our hotel around your mouth.
She's doing this the whole time because she likes to instigate everything and interject into
We were walking by the hotel and
with her waving
exactly. And I just can't wait till we find out the DNA if the baby's his or not, because all it is about David, and when it should be about Dawson, and whether David.
It is about Dawson.
Well, she said
I can't wait to find out so we can just be rid of him.
Miss Furnari,
it ain't about you.
Let's get back to what's relevant. The bottom line is, Ms. Knox, you're saying that you believe Miss Furnari is just trying to stay connected to your fiance.
Yes.
And you believe the only reason she's just saying or asserting that you are the father is because she wants to be with you.
That is exactly right, Your Honor.
Shut your mouth.
Okay, Your Honor.
It is your intention, if it's determined that you are Dawson's biological father today, to be involved in his life.
I'm gonna step up and take the responsibility that I have to take.
But you have been, and you say you've been trying to see him in the interim. And
we'll do it. If he's going to talk about taking care of his kids, he needs to do it. Dawson is not the only one going through this right now.
Have you been providing for Dawson financially?
No, I haven't, Your Honor. The simple fact why I won't do it, I don't feel I should have to take care of another man's kid.
But you want to see him.
If I don't know, that was before. And then, I said, you're calling me, asking me for something, but when I want to get a DNA test, you don't want to give it to me.
So, Ms. Furnari, if it is indeed determined that Mr. Vadeboncoeur is Dawson's biological father, where do you go from here? Do you really want a relationship with him ultimately?
No, it's about Dawson. I want him to be in Dawson's life.
You want him to be a father?
Yes, I want him to be a father.
And you will allow him?
Yes, I will.
To be involved?
Yes.
I want to be aunt,
and if he's not his biological child, then what?
Then I'll go my separate way.
Now, Your Honor, there's been so many times I have tried to do so many things. I think she has some kind of doubt in her mind that it's not mine.
We all know.
Well, the only way to move forward is to get the results. Jerome, I'm ready. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Vadeboncoeur versus Furnari, When it comes to 12-month-old Dawson Furnari, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Vadeboncoeur, you are the father.
That's your son, David.
That's fine.
Now all this can stop and you could be his dad. Can I give my brother a hug? Through all this, I love my brother.
Absolutely. You don't want to hug your sister?
No, I don't.
He doesn't want to hug Miss Vadeboncoeur.
At the end of the day, if he needs me, that's my baby brother, and I'm there no matter what he may say. That's my brother. I give a care what nobody says. In the end of the day, that is my brother, and I'm down for him 100%.
Mr. Vadeboncoeur, it doesn't sound like that's the. What are you feeling now? I'm trying to understand what your emotion. Are you happy?
I'm happy about it. I am happy about it. Now, the only problem that I'm gonna have with all this is Miss Furnari. I can take care of Dawson, but it doesn't have to include her.
Absolutely.
But
it does include her to the extent that you all will have to co-parent together.
I understand that. I don't regret anything. I don't regret that kid now that I know he's mine.
We've got an innocent little boy with a mother and a father that claim they want what's best for him. Now it's time to see if you all are going to step up to the plate and do what's necessary, and that's a lot of hard work.
I try to push him into that role.
Now, Miss Vadeboncoeur, you have been very vocal today, and I appreciate it. I have a nephew that I love. I call him my first baby. But that's their child. That's their child.
I try to act like the go-between when they can't get along.
But listen, at some point, the go-between has to step out of the picture and allow the parents the opportunity to see if they can figure this out together. And that goes for you too, Miss Knox. Now you're entering into a marriage, you all fiance, you're going to get married, but this is still the parents of this child. You guys got to learn how to talk together.
Brandon McKnight been telling me that he's gonna leave her. He don't want to be with her. So in my mind, you keep telling me this. I'm thinking like, okay, he's gonna do it. He want to be with me. Then if he keeps telling me he don't want to be with her.
So, Mr. McKnight, you're not doing enough talking today.
Your Honor, I never told her one time that I wanted to be with her.
Yes, she have, Your Honor.
I never told
numerous
her.
Numerous times.
Okay, hold on. Do you? I'm asking you now.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you want to be in a relationship with Ms. Wilson?
No, Your Honor.
He's lying because she's over there. When she's not here, he would have.
Your Honor, he has no
hold on.
reason to lie.
Let me.
Because you here.
But Ms. Wilson, I need to ask you this as a woman of age and maybe even experience. You know a man will tell you a tale, right? When he's speaking with the wrong head and not using the right head. So why do you think he was telling you all of that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because he told me that he didn't want to be with her. He said he had to wait on her to do the divorce. He can't just do it. He had to wait on her to do the first divorce move.
Oh, Jerome, have you ever heard about that kind of divorce?
That's what
I don't know. I've been a family lawyer for just about 20-something years.
Your Honor. Your Honor.
Never heard of that kind of divorce.
Your Honor, as a woman, and I'm not even being funny right now because I have nothing against her, I wasn't married to her. You worth more than this. Like, you're worth more than somebody who doesn't, he could have been with you.
Okay, but she's not in the picture, but
his desire
I
was to be with you. I've been gone.
Other weeks.
But hold on, I want to ask you this now. At the moment you find out you're pregnant, you tell Mr. McKnight, you say he attended an ultrasound appointment. Was he there when Shakira was born?
I was on the phone with him when I was having her. He told me that the truck that they have, it was the tire blew. So he came the next day.
Let me see that evidence. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this is a picture of Mr. McKnight in the hospital room with you.
Yes.
That's you in the bed.
Yes.
And you shot that picture of him.
Yes.
I'm sure you had a good time shooting that picture.
She couldn't wait to send me that, Your Honor.
Trust me, I know. So, Mr. McKnight, is that you in the picture?
Yes, Your Honor.
On your phone?
Yes, Your Honor.
In the hospital room with your mistress, Miss Wilson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you texting your wife to say you just gonna be a little bit later?
No, I don't even know. I don't even know what I was doing.
So you came to see the baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because you knew the baby could be yours?
Yes.
No,
yes.
I just
yes,
went
Your
to be
Honor.
nosy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, hold on. Did you just say you just went to be nosy?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. That's a lie.
You had to look to see if it looked like you. That's what
Yes,
you had to go
Your
do.
Right, tell
Yes,
him.
Your Honor.
Tell
Yes,
him, Your Honor.
Okay.
Tell him,
I
Your
just
Honor.
started being nosy.
Tell him, Your
That's the
Honor.
thing. Yes.
And clearly, through the testimony, you didn't tell your wife you were there.
No, Your Honor.
Exactly.
Did you sign the birth certificate while you were there being nosy?
No, Your Honor.
No. He told me he told me he was gonna come back and sign the baby birth certificate.
And you believe that?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Miss Wilson, we got to work with you. So now Shakira's here under father's name for the birth certificate, just blank.
Just blank, yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McKnight?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sounds like to me you had a good hunch that you could be Shakira's biological father.
Yes.
That's why you took your little self up there to that hospital.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So since that time, what have you done for this child?
I haven't even.
He's lying. He seen her 2 weeks ago at the hotel.
No, I didn't.
He gave me $200, and he seen her.
So you've tried to go see the baby?
No, I came to him.
Ms. McKnight?
Multiple times.
It looks
I
like,
wasn't there, Your Honor.
I was gonna say, it looks like you didn't know he had seen and spent time with the baby.
Oh, no, not at all.
It's numerous times he been seeing my baby.
I'm
I've been
good.
dropping it. I've been dropping my baby off.
What has he been expressing to you, Ms. McKnight?
Basically, what he's been expressing to me was that he had no contact with her, that he hadn't seen her. I was actually encouraging him to make contact and to see the baby because I don't believe in deadbeat fathers. He's not a deadbeat to my children. And I didn't have a father growing up, so I would want no child to grow up without a father. So I had encouraged him. Like I said earlier, if I wasn't the adult in the situation, then there would be no situation. She could say, Mr. McKnight has been to the front of the court numerous times because the
Right, Your Honor. So he's been dodging me about wanting to come to the court.
Excuse me.
But he's don't dodge her. That's the problem with me.
Excuse me, ma'am. Thank you. If they wanted to reach out to him, they've had multiple ways.
But he live in a room, boo-boo. He gotta have an address.
No, he has an address.
No, he don't. He live in a room.
Just because he lives
in the
somewhere
room,
doesn't mean he doesn't
they
have
can't serve a person
a
who live in the
relative's
room.
address
Hold on,
for you.
hold
live in
on,
a
hold on.
hotel.
Listen.
Let's get that
There's
clear.
many ways to receive mail. It's called P.O. Box, relative.
Well, he don't have that.
He don't have that. You don't know what
I don't know that. All I know is the hotel.
Miss
You're not his wife. You don't know what he possesses.
Okay, well.
Miss Wilson, Miss Wilson, this is the part that I want you to understand. You're not gonna outdo her. It don't matter whether she's here, gone, living up the street, down the road, next door. You are married until you are divorced. They are married. You will not outdo her. There's not enough talking, yelling, talking over her. He ain't got no address. Yes, he does. He has their marital home address. That's still his address. That's just how it goes. You know, as you talk, I can understand how a young woman, when you say you suffered such a tragic loss, how you could be in a position to want to believe somebody cares about you and wants to be with you, and you believe that, you want to believe that person's lies, because I do believe Mr. McKnight was telling it, because he's telling the same tale most married men tell when they have absolutely no intention of leaving their family. It's always what the wife ain't doing and what he don't like about her and what this. You ain't nothing but momentary therapy. You cheaper than the psychologist or the psychiatrist, because the hotel is cheaper than the bill for the psychiatrist. So I just go have sex with this other little girl and I talk all my nonsense and then I go back and I be a husband to my wife and to my kids. Men been doing this from the beginning of time, and women too. And it does bother me that you believe it, because I can see how emphatic you are. And it's like you gonna tell her something she don't know. You already did when you called her. But a phone call through Messenger is not a divorce. And as you can see, he had the right to file paperwork to get a divorce all the time if he wanted to leave his wife. He didn't do it. You gotta stop this. You really do. We're not gonna do that because you are better than that. And his wife told you that too. You better than that. Yeah. And how you can sit up in this courtroom, Ms. McKnight, and empower this young woman, I think speaks volumes to your character. Because you don't have to be this kind.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I also tell you that I just buried my mother 3 days ago. And that speaks to how passionate I am about getting this situation resolved. Nothing in me wanted to get on a flight after burying my mother, but I do want closure from this situation, and I want the best for her child, believe it or not. If she is my children's siblings, I want my children to have a relationship with their sibling. I'm not the type of person that she's trying to paint me to be. I do love my husband. I just understand when it's time to move on.
So, Mr. McKnight?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you have very real doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'd like to understand what that doubt is.
A while ago, I went through Mrs. Wilson's phone, and she had texted some gentleman, and she was telling the gentleman that, oh, your granddaughter is doing fine, and so I'm like, so how's you know, telling everybody that...
You saw a text in Miss Wilson's phone?
Yes, Your Honor.
That said your granddaughter's doing fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that was not your father?
No, my father is deceased, so it wasn't my father.
What you're saying is it wasn't anybody from your family?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Wilson, were you sleeping with some other man?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were?
I was messing with, I only slept with him 2 times.
But it only takes once. So tell me about the relationship with this other guy.
Me and him was a high school sweetheart. And I was seeing him, and I seen him 2 times, while, we had sex.
Did you ever tell Mr. McKnight about this other guy?
No, but I told the other guy about McKnight.
And this is a 3rd man in addition to the coworker you were having sex with before you met and had the sex with Mr. McKnight.
We was having sex with her at the same time.
No, Your Honor, that's a lie.
Are you smiling about that?
No,
yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he's smiling. Yes, he is.
No, I'm not.
That's a lie, Your Honor. That's a lie.
No, my face made like that.
No, that's a lie.
Okay. Mr. McKnight, you believe that the coworker is Shakira's biological father?
To be honest, Your Honor, I don't know who the father is. I can't even say it's his. I don't know.
Your Honor, the other coworker, he's passed. He's not even here. He's deceased.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, that does not preclude him from being the biological.
But I slept with him way before I met Ramon. I stopped messing with the other employee way before I met Ramon. So he don't have nothing to do with it. That's not what he was telling me.
But Mr. McKnight testified that he and the guy were sleeping with you at the same time because they would talk about it.
Your Honor,
no, that's a lie. I don't recall that. That's a lie.
I seen his car when I was coming over there. I seen him leaving.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
So you pulling in and he pulling out?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
I shouldn't have said that like that.
That's a lie. Your Honor, that's a lie.
Oh. Literally and figuratively, right? Well, this is definitely confusing.
You ain't lying about that.
So, Mr. McKnight.
Yes, Your Honor.
What are your hopes? Do you hope you are Shakira's biological father?
No. I hope I'm not. But
that's a lie.
But, Your Honor, if I am, I would step up and take care of my child because I have 5 children from 18 all the way to 3. So I take care of all my kids.
Do you want to salvage your relationship with your wife?
I do, but I just got to work on. I got to work on getting me right first. I don't want to go back and then, I don't want to go back to her. And if I'm not right, I'd rather work on me first.
If you were the man you could be or you would want to be, would you want to make your marriage right with your wife?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. McKnight, if the child is not his biological child, could you give him a chance to try to get himself together?
I'll always be his friend, Your Honor, but I would have to strongly, strongly consider and weigh all the possibilities before I would commit to staying in the marriage, Your Honor.
That's fair. Ms. Wilson, if Mr. McKnight is Shakira's biological father, as you have testified, what are your hopes?
I want him to be a father. She's 1 year old. He's behind.
Because she doesn't have a relationship with him?
No, not at all. I know who my parents is. They've been together for 39 years. I know who my mother and father is, so I would want my daughter to know who her father is.
And have you prepared yourself if he's not?
Yes.
And so if he's not, where do we go from there?
Then it's no more me and him. It's done.
So you're saying if Shakira's not his biological child, your relationship with Mr. McKnight is over?
Yes.
Never had none.
Yes.
Do you know where the other possibility is?
No, he's the only possibility. Him and the other guy.
All right. At this point, I think we're ready for the results. Jerome, may I have the envelope, please? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Wilson versus McKnight, when it comes to 1-year-old Shakira Wilson, it has been determined by this court. Mr. McKnight, you are the father.
Thank you, Your Honor. He knew he was the father.
Mr. McKnight, that is your beautiful baby girl. You are the father. That is your 6th child.
You'll be all right. You'll make it. You made her. You'll make it.
Exactly.
His reaction in this moment, I want you to see it. He almost passed out because he didn't want to be tied to you.
Okay, so.
No, I've seen this too much. His wife was right. He made her, so he got to find a way to pay and be a part of her life. But that doesn't mean you have to come along with it. You got to draw a line, because I can't see a man who has made it clearer from the beginning of a hearing to the end that he has absolutely no good intention for you. You don't need to be bothered with that. It's not worth your sanity, your self-esteem, or your integrity, right? So you have learned the tough lesson of what it means to be involved with a married man.
You're right, Your Honor.
And he's still married. And Mr. McKnight, this is the culmination of a whole bunch of thinking you did with the wrong head.
You right.
I mean it.
Yes, you are.